It's me, Mario!
Look, I loved Mario Kart 8, but it's been too many goddamn years! So imagine my excitement after seeing the announcement for Mario Kart World. Imagine my confusion after seeing the crazy risks they took with this thing. Yeah, just can never please me, huh? Mario Kart. Two words that I associate with orgasmic feelings of euphoria. See, the first time I ever cracked open one of these suckers was back in 2012 when I got my 3DS. And since then, I've been cursed to never find a better kart racing franchise till today. My nuts stopped working! Sonic Cross World Racing had my hopes high up, but after seeing the gameplay, it looks great. But I don't know, it just doesn't seem as tight as Mario Kart. So, it's a good thing Nintendo's got me with a new Mario Kart. I was on the brink of losing my mind going through Mario Kart Stadium for the 647th time over the past 11 years. Mario Kart World. How many times have I said that fucking name in this video? My brain would constantly conflate this title with Mario Kart Tour for the first 4 days after its announcement. Because, you know, Mario Kart World, Mario Kart Tour. I don't know, they're not numbers! See, there's a lot going on in this game. From the Forza Horizon style open world mode, to the Battle Royale-esque knockout, the fucking cow-on-cow cannibalism, they've changed a lot. Even though not everything is necessarily an upgrade. More on that later. But before we get there, let's take a trip back to a time where Korra seemingly kissing Asami on live TV was the most controversial thing in the goddamn world. Subscribe if you think Dragon Driftway might be one of the best Mario Kart courses ever. Still subscribe if you don't. Punk. Mario Kart 8 was initially confirmed back in January of 2013. 12 years ago, I know! The last Mario Kart game on the 3DS at the time was barely 2 years old at this point, so it's not like Mario Kart fans were necessarily starving for a new game like we currently are right now. But keep in mind that even though Mario Kart 7 was a mainline entry in the series that introduced new staples like customizable karts, gliding, and underwater sections, it still wasn't Mario Kart on the big screen, and people wanted just that! A new Mario Kart game is a staple of every Nintendo console. They usually tend to release early on in the console's life, as Mario Kart games are usually system sellers. So, it had been 5 years since Mario Kart Wii in 2008, and the Wii U had just launched a few months prior to the time of this announcement. People were pumped, and rightfully so. I mean, graphically, this was an insane leap forward. Probably the biggest in any Mario Kart generation to date, except for Super Mario Kart to Mario Kart 64, but come on! It was 2D to 3D! Everything on the N64 was a huge leap. Now, call me stupid, stinky, intellectually challenged, or funky smelling, but I will stand behind my maybe not so batshit crazy opinion that Mario Kart Double Dash looked better than Mario Kart Wii.
Mamma mia!
And I'm not talking about for the time, no. I'll load both games up today, and I still think Double Dash looks better. I'm sorry, Mario Kart Wii was ugly. What's with that nasty bloom effect they added to the game? I might be wrong, but I think I've seen a mod of this game without the bloom effect, and it looked so much better. Also, I know this was the 7th generation of gaming where making games piss or mud colored was a trend, but goddamn, I thought that was an Xbox 360 and PS3 syndrome. I find it interesting how Nintendo just sometimes randomly decides to name their Mario Kart games after their respective home consoles, and sometimes they don't. From Super Mario Kart to Mario Kart 64, to Mario Kart Double Dash, to Mario Kart Wii, to Mario Kart 8, to Mario Kart World. Like, what? And then on handheld you have Mario Kart Super Circuit, to Mario Kart DS, or no Mario Kart 3DS, no, Mario Kart 7. Boom. Anyway, the main new gimmick of Mario Kart 8 with the added power of the Wii U was introducing these very ambitiously designed tracks that incorporated anti-gravity! Anti-gravity? Anti-gravity! Apparently, early in this game's development, the idea of using a drill to penetrate the ground somehow was considered, but discarded as they considered it less interesting than anti-gravity. All the new courses were obviously designed with anti-gravity in mind, and tracks from older games were redesigned to use it. Now, I'll be honest here, something my grandfather isn't. When I first saw the trailer for this game, I expected the anti-gravity effect to be more anti-gravity? Like, I don't know, it's pretty cool and all, but I just think sometimes it's pretty hard to tell that you're actually upside down without looking at your flattened, hovering cartwheels, which actually does make sense when you think about it, as obviously the camera can't turn upside down, or else you wouldn't be able to fucking play the game. So I don't blame them for this implementation, as it's probably the best way they could do the whole anti-gravity shtick without breaking the game's camera. Some tracks though do pull off an amazing job when it comes to showing off this anti-gravity effect though. Think Dragon Driftway. Amazing twisting course. Wildwoods is also one of the absolute best courses in this game and does a fantastic job at showing just that, I don't know, that up and down roller coaster effect. Big Blue 2! These are the real anti-gravity courses, baby! And I think they were all DLC courses on the Wii U, before the game was ported to the Switch, of course. But enough about boring old Mario Kart 8. Jesus, my brain is tired from just talking about that game so much. I really had my fill of it. Next gen Mario Kart. With Mario Kart World, Nintendo took a big risk, and by that I mean choosing to swerve in a different direction, pun maybe intended, instead of trying to directly improve upon Mario Kart 8. Let me explain. See, when it comes to making video game sequels, bigger is usually better, or at least that's what a lot of game developers seem to think. I'm looking at you, Ubisoft. With Mario Kart World, they're not trying to do more than Mario Kart 8 or necessarily go bigger by all means. No, they're just giving us a different Mario Kart experience. I mean, what? Mario Kart 8 Deluxe had 96 tracks with all the booster pass courses. Did you want this game to have 97? I think it's really interesting how a lot of the courses seem to look a bit more laid back and normal in terms of the layout, which a lot of people have expressed concerns about online, and rightfully so. I mean, I was also worried about the tracks being a bit boring since the whole anti-gravity shtick was dropped. The courses don't go up, down, and sideways as much as some of the Mario Kart 8 Deluxe courses did, and it's because they weren't trying to be more bombastic than those courses were. Like, at a point, you gotta chill, man. Any more than this, and we're not gonna be able to even keep tracks of our carts. And you can see more of this decision of them taking a step back and deciding to do something different instead of more when it comes to the water sections. Like, we don't go underwater anymore, we just bob on the water. The base game of Mario Kart 8 Deluxe on Switch had 48 courses because it included all 16 DLC courses released on the Wii U. Mario Kart World isn't trying to beat that. Nintendo were okay with giving us just a good old 32 courses. I mean, I don't know if it's been confirmed to be exactly 32, but it's definitely around that number. Beat and bash me all you want, but I will say though, that I'm not the biggest fan of the art style in this game. Like, I know it sounds weird to complain about a Nintendo game, Mario Kart of all things, looking cartoony, but I just think they could have made it look a little bit more photorealistic. Like, I feel like that would have shown off the grunt of the Switch 2 way better. Like, maybe photorealistic isn't even the word I'm looking for, just more detailed, especially when it comes to the characters. I mentioned this a lot, but I think Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart is a great example of this. Nothing about these characters look photorealistic, but just by the amount of detail on them, it makes them look so good. Like, the tracks in Mario Kart World do have way more density when it comes to smaller details, and I'm not necessarily complaining about the tracks here, though I still do think they could have made them look a bit more next-gen. But the characters, man, they're also cute and curvy, even more so than Mario Kart 8, and it almost looks like I'm racing with toys instead of the actual characters. But hey, the game still looks and runs great, so who am I to keep on bitching about it? Now, all of this doesn't mean that there aren't new features or improvements at all. I mean, the whole big deal with this game is the new open world exploration. Forza Horizon is one of the most popular examples of this, and while it's not the most exciting thing in the world for me personally, I do understand the appeal. It's something fresh. We haven't had a shakeup like this to the Mario Kart formula in a while, and I just think the idea of exploring every nook and cranny of these courses while going slow and taking it all in, all the little details, it sounds like a lot of fun. I guess my thing is, I just feel like I'll probably get bored of it after the novelty wears off in a couple of weeks. To be fair, there are a few missions incorporated into the open world, like rail grinding and coin collecting, but I don't know, these missions don't really feel like anything substantial, but who knows, we'll see when the game actually releases. I am really excited about the knockout mode mechanic, where you have these marathon races and get knocked out if you don't reach a certain position in each race. A lot of people have described it as adding a battle royale element to Mario Kart, and I kind of agree with that. The game does go bigger though when it comes to the number of players on screen. 24 up from 12. I think this is great. It makes it a bit more chaotic, and just being more crowded makes it seem like there's a lot going on in the race. The courses also look wider to accommodate the 24 players, which I actually like. Not like Mario Kart 8 courses were too tight or anything, but this is just a case of something being different, hence more interesting to me since it switches up the formula a bit. So, I've said a whole lot about how Nintendo chose to go different instead of necessarily bigger with Mario Kart World. A whole lot of something, a whole lot of nothing, you decide. Me? I'm gonna go watch this compilation of Reggie's best moments while eating a big bad bowl of carne asada. My next video will be fueled by the energy siphoned from the aforementioned pastimes. Please stay tuned for bananza!